College Algebra, Quadratics and Their Solutions, Solving Quadratic Equations, Part 1. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. Ax squared plus or minus bx plus or minus c equals 0. And remember, we want all of the quadratic equations to be equal to 0 before we get started working on the problem. Solving quadratic equations. We have the factoring method using the principle of zero product, square root property, completing the square, quadratic formula, substitution method, and the graphing method using your TI calculator. Let's start with a couple of examples. In this first example, our problem has already been factored, and you'll also notice that I have marked this slide as a review, meaning that there's nothing that you'll see on this slide that you've never seen before. Because this is already factored and it's set equal to 0, all I have to do here is to take each one of these factors, set each of them equal to 0, and solve for the variable. So on my left side, x is going to be equal to a positive 3, and on the other side, x is going to equal a negative 4. And those are the solutions to this particular problem. Over here, a little bit more work to do. It's already set equal to 0, so that's good. That means we just need to factor the left side. To do so, let's use the AC method, meaning we'll take our A term times our C term. That's going to give me a negative 45. And then we get the factor pairs for negative 45. I'm not concerned with my signs just yet, so I'm just going to say 1 times 45, 2 times nothing, 3 times 15, 4 times nothing, 5 times 9, 6 times nothing, 7 times nothing, 8 times nothing, and we're back at 9. So the only pair here that can give me a 4 would be the 5 and the 9. Because this is a negative 45, I know that one of these has to be a negative. For it to be a negative 4, the higher number is going to have to be a negative. The smaller one is my positive. So now I rewrite my problem as 3x squared plus 5x minus 9x minus 15 equals 0. And at this point, my AC method turns into the grouping method. We're going to factor out the GCF from each set of parentheses. The first set is just going to be an x. We'll be left with 3x plus 5. The second set is going to be a negative 3. We'll be left with a 3x plus 5. And all of that is still equal to 0. We'll rewrite it with the GCF and the common factor. Now, this problem is at the same point that this one started off. So we'll take each one of these, set it equal to 0, adding 3 to both sides here, x is going to be equal to a positive 3. Subtracting 5 from both sides and then dividing by 3, x is going to equal a negative 5/3. Here's another one. The only problem with this is that it does not start off being set equal to 0. It's not a major problem. What we'll start by doing is we'll distribute the x, And then the other thing we're going to need to do is move this 20 to the other side of the equation. When I distribute the x, I get 2x squared minus 3x. When I move the 20 to the other side, it was a positive 20 here, so we subtract 20 from both sides. So it's going to say minus 20 equals 0. Now we have something that we can work with. From here, we notice that there's no GCF that we can factor out to start with, so we may just want to go ahead and jump to the AC method, where we'll multiply the 2 times the negative 20. That's going to give us a negative 40 to have to break down. Once again, not worrying about my signs, and just worrying about the factors. 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 3 times nothing, 4 times 10, 5 times 8, 6 times nothing, 7 times nothing, and I'm back at 8. The only pair that can give me a 3 here is going to be this last one here, the 5 and the 8. It needs to be a negative 3, which means my larger number needs to be the negative, and the smaller needs to be the positive. So we're just going to rewrite this over here as 2x squared, replacing the negative 3x with a positive 5x minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. Now we go to the grouping method, factoring out the GCF here. X comes out, 2x plus 5 is left behind. Here, a negative 4 comes out, 2x plus 5. The GCF, those are both placed in one. The common factor is placed in another. Take each of those factors, set them equal to 0. Subtracting 4 here, so the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So here, x is going to equal a positive 4. Here, 5 is being added, so we'll subtract 5 and then divide by 2. So x is going to equal a negative 5 halves. Here's another one that seems like it has a lot of stuff going on in it. It does, but it doesn't. I still have it marked as a review. And basically what you're going to do here, you're going to FOIL this side. After you FOILed it to find out what that trinomial is, then you'll move all of these terms to the left so that your equation will be equal to 0. Factor it, solve it, and keep moving. I'm going to leave this one for you to try on your own. Good luck. And at this point, I'm going to stop the video and pick up with part 2, starting with the principle of square roots method. Please know that if there's anything that you didn't understand, you can rewind, you can go back, watch it, and pause wherever you need to. But definitely let me know if you have any questions.